Is there anything on his behalf that you would want to say to the family of the victim?
Well, he is very sorry. We both are for the family, and I've lost a family member as well, same with my brother, so I know how that feels. I hope that the family can heal and maybe one day forgive my brother for what he did, and if not, that's completely understandable.
Mm-hmm. We heard in court today that it was for the money taken was maybe $45 to $60, not very much. And a man lost his life for that, and apparently they were just using it to party, for drugs. I know you're his sister. When you hear that, though, what's your reaction?
Oh, it's hard to hear, that's for sure. It's bad for what people do for stuff like that, but it does happen, unfortunately.
Do you hope he gets some help? I know before he had addictions issues. It doesn't sound like that's something now, but what are you hoping that when he gets out of prison, that he'll walk away with?
Hopefully he'll walk away with any kind of education he can get and a little bit more perspective on what he should be doing and what he could be doing with his life.
And hopefully he'll have a chance to use his brain. You know, what really upsets me is since the age of 12, he's had a brain that's laid idle. He hasn't had to go to school. There's been no nourishment. There's been no nourishment for his body. There's been no nourishment for his brain. He loved his stepdad because his stepdad was strict and would punish him physically if he did anything wrong. Stepdad is not a good guy. He leaves, and Mom throws him into the foster system at the age of 12. And he's not crying about it. He's a very likable, stoic guy. He's been in prison. He's been sitting there saying, "Yeah, I did it. I confessed on December 29th when I was arrested." And I said, well, that confession wasn't gained properly because they didn't find the evidence properly, but that's all gone. And he said, well, do what you can. I've got to go back to the federal prison for years. And then, or for months until June 1st of 2012. And then he came out expecting to be sentenced last June, or at least expecting to have a trial about whether or not the court would find him guilty as opposed to his admissions. But, it's a horrible, mean youth justice system or youth, not justice system, but youth custody system, youth guardianship system that we have in this province. And there's not enough being done about it. Everybody knows a 12-year-old. You look at a 12-year-old boy, maybe he acts up, maybe he doesn't, but his parents don't call the police to take him away for 5 days. And there's some great foster parents and some really, really good, knowledgeable, loving group homes in this province. But there's far too many that take children from far away, lock their fridges, lock their cabinets. How does a child feel? What chance do they have when if they try to get into the fridge, they're going to get in a fight with the group home worker, and the police are going to come and put them away, and that's where they grow up, and they don't have school. If you grow up in prison, they don't want you in school. If every couple of weeks you're being hauled away for a couple of days of breaching or being at McDonald's at 10 after 10 when you're supposed to be home at 10, and it just goes on and on. There are hundreds of these kids I've seen out there, and it's too bad. And of course it's awful for the family of Mr. Gupta and the second fellow, the robbery. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name right now, but that's an awful position that they're put in. But it's almost predestined that that's what we're growing here. I'm sorry, you people. It won't bring it back, but he's really sorry.
So do you blame his upbringing, the family, as well as the foster system for what brought him to court today?
Very much so. I think it's a horrible, mean system, as I said, that just abandons children, that especially if there's any acting out, and I don't know how there wouldn't be when you're sort of in this lost situation where nobody loves you, and some 12-year-olds are more mature than others, but if you're kicked out of your house, I have no comment on his mother or what happened there, but she didn't have the means to look after him when he was 12 years old. And children, even, the point is, children would like somebody that loves them enough to beat them rather than they'd like to be ignored.
Well, you said that specifically in this case.
Specifically in this case, yeah. And he's institutionalized. He's only happy in prison because he gets his orders and he knows where he has to be every minute of the day.